Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. We are back with another Rob Squad and the Creators episode. As always, we are so excited to be back with another new guest today. Before we get started in that though, I want to go ahead and like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that post notification bell. And you are here with your boy Jay.
Hey y'all, you're also here with your girl Amber. We are so excited to be here with Mr. Peter Noon today. He was the lead man for Herman's Hermits, and he started his career at the ripe age at 15. We are so excited to explore what else he has in store for us today with the suggestions that he's pulled for us.
If you guys go back to our channel and you watch the very first reaction, you guys see us. We're both like, hold on a second, who is this? This babyface guy out here singing, pulling off these dance moves. And we have the honor of talking to Mr. Peter Noon today. As Amber said, sold over 40 million records.
80 million records.
He's been on VH1. He's done so many amazing things. Without any further ado, guys, we have the lead man, the front, Mr. Herman Peter Noon. It is a pleasure to have you.
Hey, nice to meet you, Jay and Amber. It's a strange way to meet you, but it's a nice way to meet you.
It's 2024.
It's 2024, yeah. As much as
technology has taken us.
Yeah, and I had a wash and everything before
Hey, you're looking dapper.
Very dapper.
So if you guys are new here to Rob Squad and the Creators, what we do here is we get to meet the awesome minds, the creators behind some of these amazing groups and songs. And today, Mr. Peter Noon came with 3 songs for us. What's the first one you have in mind?
And one is Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, which is an extraordinarily unusual piece. And I'm sure you've never heard it. And see how it goes with that. See how well you do with that.
All right, guys, so you heard it from Mr. Noon himself. Miss Brown, you've got a lovely daughter. We are so excited to get into it. Before we get started, there's a couple things we ask you guys to do real quick.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that post notification bell so you never miss out on some really great music and episodes like Rob Squad and the Creators, where we get to listen to artists like Mr. Peter Noon.
This has become so much fun. Like, you get in awe of these people because, you see them through the screen. And then, we get to actually talk to them like a little kid in the candy shop right now. But we're ready to check out Miss Brown. You've got a lovely daughter. Let's get it.
Now from Manchester, England, Peter Herman Noon.
The crowd is going crazy.
Paul Gill, T. Popwood, and
All women. All women.
Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter. There's the sharpest hair I've seen from rare. But it's sad, she doesn't love me now. She's made it clear enough, it ain't no good to buy. To return those things I bought her. Tell her she can't keep them just the same. Things have changed. She doesn't love me now. She's made it clear enough, it ain't no good to buy. Looking about in a crowd, well, you pick her out, makes her both feel so proud if she finds that I've been.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I love the most about it is he can literally just blink or flash us those pearly whites, and the crowd hasn't stopped, first of all. And I have to point out that it is mainly female screams that you're hearing, and you kind of get it, right? We know that you started your career at the age of 15, but it sounds like you have not only been delighting audiences for that long, but you've been stealing hearts for that long as well. You heard it and you saw it.
If I'm that age and I got that swagger and I got that many women yelling at me, hey, I'm going to play to them too. You better believe it.
You just have to blink and the crowd went wild. But what I love is that, like, the stage presence, I love the stage presence. I love how the crowd feeds into it, and almost how like you're feeding into their adoration as well. But I love his voice and the way he's still able to carry along with the story about how he's telling this mother how much he adores her daughter. But am I right? The adoration wasn't the same. The relationship was splitting, right? And he was telling her that her daughter was lovely, even though maybe the relationship wasn't going to work.
You know, the song, what happened was we used to play the Cavern in Liverpool.
Uh-huh.
And there was this guy called Keith Hopwood, who's still around, who was in the band Pete Novak and the Heartbeats. I was Pete Novak and we were the Heartbeats. And he bought it's such an odd story. He bought a Gretsch Country Gentleman guitar and it had the Chet Atkins model, and it had this damper on the strings.
Mhm.
And he made that sound with the guitar. And we
Wow.
created this version of Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter, using that sound of the guitar. And if you notice
Wow.
on the TV show, by the time we got to Ed Sullivan's show, we didn't have that guitar anymore.
Mhm.
And he stuck a rag underneath because basically at the Cavern, you had to be different from everybody
Right.
else.
Especially
Nobody,
during those times, yeah.
nobody could be like the Beatles because there was only one of them. And if you think about it, I don't know how much you know about the British invasion, but everybody was different.
Yep.
You know, Herman's Hermits weren't like the Beatles, and the
No.
Beatles weren't like the Dave Clark Five, who weren't like the Who weren't like the
Mhm.
Stones. Because if you didn't choose a completely separate identity, you would get lost. And we were a boy band, but we didn't know we were a boy band.
Kind
We
of
were
tongue in
boys.
cheek, yeah.
And we were basic in England. It's called taking the piss. You know, we were making fun of the fact that people screamed at us and stuff. You know, because we
Yeah.
were pretty normal English schoolboys. Really.
Right.
It's funny you said British invasion. That's kind of one of the times, the first and the second that we've really been absolutely fascinated with here on the channel. Because, like you said, there was so much going on. There was so many different sounds going on at that time.
Well, and not only that, to be able to gain popularity during the British invasion,
Yeah.
during the 60s, that is
Tough.
such a decade for music. And when you said you had to stand out, of course that makes sense and that explains the success, because that's not an easy decade to make it. That's such a
No.
beautiful decade for music.
I lived at 25 Norfolk Gardens in this place called Flixton, and there were maybe 50 people my age within a mile who were all in what was called at the time a beat group.
Wow.
And everybody was just having a go. It was part of, it's hard to explain the British invasion, but we were all the children of these people who didn't have much entertainment. And most of us came from these families who created their entertainment at home. You know, my grandmother was the choir mistress at the church. My grandfather was the organ player. My Auntie Mary could play Fats Waller music brilliantly. My dad had a trombone. My Uncle Lawrence had a trumpet. And if somebody had a christening, a wedding, a funeral, a seance, everybody would show up at that house and get in my grandmother's parlor, and we would sing songs.
That is absolutely awesome. And like I said, in this song, I mean, you see young Peter Newell just stunning up there on stage. Like you said, all the women, yelling for you. That's awesome.
But it's interesting to know how it all came.
Yeah, how it all came about.
It's not often that we consider, creating your own entertainment and why talent, where, there were so many different talented artists and, so creative because a lot of entertainment, the way they entertain themselves, what relied on them being creative.
Right.
And that's why I feel like it bled into the music, obviously.
For sure. No doubt about it. Let's go ahead and let me rewind it a little bit. Let's get back to it.
Pick her out, makes her both feel so proud. She finds that I've been round to see you. Tell her that I'm well and feeling fine. Don't let her on, don't say she's broke my heart. I'd go down on my knees, but it's no good to buy. Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter. Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter.
And this is the register of what you're singing out right there.
Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter.
Wow.
That was incredible. And
He knew how to play the camera. And, Ed Sullivan was a great bloke, but he always got our names wrong. Once he says, again, this week we have my good friend, Peter Herman Moon. He keeps doing
He
it.
did
always
say
got my
that.
name
He
wrong.
did say that.
did you ever tell him, hey, it's noon? Did you ever tell him that?
We once called him Mr. Ed, which wasn't cool.
I can imagine, you said you were so young going into this, being told you're going to go and be on a show like that. I can imagine at that age that
man.
felt like. Because Ed Sullivan show, even though we weren't around for that time,
We
what
know
we've
how big
learned
it is
through
now,
this
yeah.
channel, that is a very big deal.
Everything was a big deal for us, but remember that everybody from England was in the shadow, this daunting shadow called the Beatles.
Yeah.
Even the Stones at the time were in that shadow.
Mhm.
Everyone was trying to. So we knew we were never going to be as good as the Beatles. Remember, the Beatles were funny, handsome, great hair, great songwriters, great musicians. We only had great hair. I met Elvis Presley because I always wanted to meet Elvis Presley, and I met him in Hawaii, and I read the paper 50 years later, and it says in the paper, Peter Noone, Herman from Herman's Hermits, yesterday met his all-time hero, Elvis Presley, who's in Hawaii making a movie called... and Peter Noone took a day off from a 360-day tour to meet his hero. The story was that I'd taken a day off from 360-day tour. But to me, the story was, we'd done it. We were in the middle of a 360-day tour. Who would even do that? And we only did it because we were all 16 or 17.
Yeah.
What else would you go back to school? Go and hang out with Maureen Vasey and people like that in Manchester? No, we wanted to be on the road, and every day was like a dream come true.
That is so cool. And again, we are honored to have you here and for you to suggest that song to us and kind of give us the backstory of how it was created.
Just off of the guitar.
Yeah, just off of the guitar that, was bought is so cool. Mr. Peter, we thank you so much. RSR family, make sure when you guys leave here, go check out Peter Noone. He's got a channel over on Sirius XM Radio, which we have, and you guys should get to, is the Tell Me Something Good radio station, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's on Sirius XM, and I also got a website called Peter. If you can type in the words Peter and Noone, you can find me all over the place.
I love it.
There you go. He told y'all right there. Make sure to go check out everything he has coming up. Now, a question I wanted to ask you: any tours, anything coming up soon?
I'm on a lifetime tour. I got 10 more years, but the T-shirt says the Peter Noone World Tour. 10 more years, and it starts today. The 10 more years starts again today, and I've got all over the place all year. I got another 80 concerts this year.
Hey, well, if you're in Dallas, I'll say you'll be pretty close to us, so we may have to come down there and check it out. We'll leave all Peter's info, his things coming up down in the description. Again, thank you for being with us today. But as we always send our people out of here, we love you, we thank you, we appreciate you. And remember, every single day that you guys wake up, it is truly a blessing and that you are blessed. And for your new family members, they hit the subscribe button down below. You guys have a goal every single day, just like all of us do. Let them know, Ma.
All right, y'all. All you have to do is go out in this big, beautiful world and make somebody smile.
We love you guys. Till next time. We'll see y'all later.